Kentucky bourbon history and tradition are as long and strong as the nation itself. It takes its name from Bourbon County, Kentucky, once the major shipping site for spirits headed down the Ohio and Mississippi rivers to New Orleans. Barrels shipped from its ports were stamped with the county's name, and bourbon and whiskey soon became synonymous. Nearly 200 years later, bourbon is America's official native spirit, as declared by Congress, a leading export and growing symbol of Kentucky craftsmanship and tradition. More than 95% of the world's bourbon is distilled and aged in Kentucky bourbon country. Today, much of the method of making bourbon is mandated by law. Bourbon must be made with at least 51% corn and aged in new white oak barrels. The inside of the barrels is charred, creating a caramelized layer of wood that mellows the flavors and imparts the amber color of bourbon. The spirit must be aged at least 2 years in order to become straight bourbon whiskey, although most bourbon is aged at least 4 to 8 years. Nearly 5 million barrels of bourbon are always aging in Kentucky warehouses that dot the rolling bluegrass hills of bourbon country. Most are built on hilltops or open fields where an adequate amount of fresh air flows. Temperature changes cause the pure limestone water in bourbon to evaporate, so there's less in the barrels when opened. This is commonly called the angel's share. While all bourbon distilleries in Kentucky follow the same steps, individual recipes and production techniques account for the distinct differences and flavors of Kentucky's many fine bourbons. 8 distilleries are open to the public for Kentucky bourbon tours, and bourbon is the main ingredient in the mint julep, the official drink of the Kentucky Derby.